Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 58. Oh my God, we're just progressing so much. And this was a really, really good book. Holy crap, this was good. Comixology had a hard time finding the cover for this one. I think they're okay now. But yeah, when I saw the cover, I was just like, I actually went to the comic book store when I saw the cover. And I looked at it, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to want to see this. Like, it just seems like they're jumping on a whole new story. They're just trying to delay the inevitable. That may be the case because Spencer has this incredible ability to. Usually, he doesn't go too long, but he does have a way to suspend the a storyline with other stories that are similarly related. It can go too far, and there was one issue, I can't remember which issue it was, 56, 55, something like that, where I did feel like it went too far, and I actually gave a fairly scathing review of the issue. But then it immediately picked up, so it's like he just went a little too far in that one, right? With this particular one, we are still progressing the story. It's just there's more elements being added. I'm going to get more into that good stuff. I think I should just tell you who made the book first and show you some of the preview pages. Anyway, so Nick Spencer is the writer. Marcelo Ferreira is on pencils. Wayne Ferreira on inks, and Maury Hollowell doing the colors. VC's Joe Caramagna on letters. Mark Bagley, John Dell, and Edgar Delgado doing the cover. Jung Gon Yoon does a variant cover, and Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Hey, that's where Spider-Man came from. So anyway, Martin Lee showing up in the beginning of this in the feast facilities is just perfect. Like, Martin Lee, the founder, like Negative Man, essentially, the founder of Feast, showing up and needing the services of Feast. Poetic. You know what I'm saying? He could do a whole bunch of really amazing things, but at the end of the day, it's like sometimes the people and the way that you treat them on your way up are the same people you're going to see on the way back. And at least as Martin Lee, he was a good person. You know what I'm saying? For now, this dude's just like he's hating life. Like he can't breathe. He's waiting for the exhale. Tosses pain with his wishes in the wishing well. Like he's doing everything he can, and he's trying to be a good person. I love the idea that he's saying, if I black out, I don't know how long it's going to take for me to come back, but he's going to be there. He's creeping. He's getting more power, and I'm terrified of what he could do. And I don't want him to hurt you or anybody else, Aunt May. And it's like, holy crap, dude. Like, you can actually feel the tension brewing. You can feel the suspense building. You can actually feel the string quartet building up. Dude, I don't know where the crescendo is going to be, but you hear the strings come in the background, and you know what that means. Like, that's the horror music of what's about to happen. I'm going to show you something that I don't know if the preview pages are going to show, but I'm going to freaking well show them. When you see this page right here, right? There are things that you can do that you would think you can only do in the blah, 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 the movies, or the, like the big screen, whatever, some kind of a motion picture thing, like television or whatever. In this particular case, hey, I know that he can't come in, but his vessels can. And you see one of the demons there. And then you see another. And then you see that there's a lot. Things like that. That's what I'm talking about with the strings building, right? You hear the string section of the orchestra tuning up, and it's like, damn, that was a really good choice for the artwork and the panels and everything. Like, I mean, maybe they could have done it in a different way where like they got bigger or whatever. Like, I honestly, I don't feel the need to give suggestions for extras or what else I'd like to see in the comic book. I was very happy with what was delivered in this particular moment. That was a really solid page right there, where you're seeing, like, here's the light, and here's the darkness. The darkness is building. It's gathering in numbers, right? The whatever, the preacher is preaching, and it's a dark ministry. I love this, right? And it's like they're coming back for me. Like the religious zealotry involved in this idea. We just had that with the Sin Eater, and I felt like I was going to miss the idea that's not going to be there. So we're getting something else very similar, and yet standing on its own two legs in here also. I love what Spencer is able to do with building up a story and building up the dread in a story. You know what's about to happen. And it's the idea that there's nothing that we can do to stop it, yet you don't know how it's going to happen. It's not as simple as, don't go in that house, girl. No, it's very different. It's like, I know that I'm going to die. It's Cthulian. It's very Cthulian. At the end of every story, you know that this dude's going to go crazy. The interesting part is how it's going to happen and how they're going to explain that you're going to go crazy too now that you read this, now that you're also in on the joke. I love that Spencer is able to do that. And I also love that I'm able to compare Spencer with H.P. Lovecraft, not with the racist stuff, no, with the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, what do you call it? Yeah, this was a really good issue. Now, again, the biggest fear that I have is that Spencer's going to go too long with this also and other stuff because with Martin Lee, there's a Dan Slott creation, if I'm remembering correctly. Um, there is the potential of some good stories being told here, like the very Zoroastrian mythos, the mythology there of Mitra, the light side, and his greatest enemy is actually his shadow. Like there's a lot there, and I love the idea of the storytelling there. Also, very similar with the Aboriginals of Australia, they have a similar mythology. Um, I love the idea of what it can be told, but I do find that a lot of writers usually wind up just getting boring. It's like, oh, these are really, they're basically just tough lackeys. You know what I'm saying? Which we got to see right away in the beginning of this, which is what actually scared me a little bit, but it's also necessary to point that out. Remember, John Byrne rule, every comic book that you create is somebody's first comic book. You have to keep that in mind. So if this is the first time somebody's, meeting Negative Man's demons, understand that they're not like regular lackeys. They're not like regular thugs who are just going to show up. It's like, yeah, I'm the cannon fodder that you're going to beat up. No, no, no. These are ones who can actually take a hit. These are ones that, as is demonstrated in here, they can take being stabbed through the freaking chest, center cavity, and still get up from it. It's like they're a lot tougher, right? And it should give you the inclination to go back and read more of these stories from back in the day. That's the whole point of doing a story like this, and I love that he's doing that. Nick Spencer, one of the best reasons to own the freaking Marvel app, and not just for his work alone, but the works that he's referencing. I'm telling you, man, like I hope that Marvel recognizes that Spencer is one of those guys that's going to make the Marvel app worthy of our purchases, right? I get my physical copies, and I have a good collection, but I still think about it. I still think about it once in a while, going back and grabbing all those if I'm not taking advantage of a Comixology sale. It would be nice to just have all the freaking books in one place. Anyway, plus multiple ways to view things there. Hey, you know what? Marvel app. Marvel, whatever. Maybe you should consider being a sponsor of Professor Bill. How about that? How about that? But probably their best sponsor or their best advocate would be Nick Spencer because of the way that he tells his stories. They give you just enough to say, I need to know more about these guys. So, bang, go learn more. Um, but anyway, there is always that fear that they are just going to be, tougher versions of people for Spider Man to punch and web up and stuff like that. I hope that's not going to happen. I hope the story isn't going to go too far. Reading a Nick Spencer comic book, the longer you get into it, is like for me watching Thor Ragnarok with the, it's too much humor, it's too much humor. Okay, so far I'm still good with it, but I'm afraid at any moment it's going to be one joke too many. And here I feel like it's going to be one comic book too many. And like I said, we've already seen Spencer do that once with me. With other people, with more patience, it didn't happen to you. With people with less patience than me, it has happened multiple times with you. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. And it's that fine line, like how many people am I going to piss off before I finally have to tell this story? And do I need to, can I tighten it up? Can I tighten up my stories a little bit in order to tell not just a longer story, but to tell a better story, right? Is it better that I let it, like, am I letting this story breathe, or am I delaying the inevitable? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I trying to keep keep a longer tenure on my job? And at one point, are they going to say, we don't care about the end of the story, we're all off the book, right? It's a very precarious position to be in. And Spencer seems to dance on that fence post a lot. and it's genuinely scary. And I'm someone who, like, I get a lot of anxiety, and like he builds my anxiety a lot with the way that he tells stories, because I'm afraid that I'm gonna not want to read Amazing Spider-Man anymore, which is sad because I love the Amazing Spider-Man story that he's telling. So yeah, it's a delicate balance that he's doing. I don't know if he's learning. I don't know if he's still, like trying to figure out what's that perfect balance to meet. I don't know if he's just a genius who doesn't need to know, and he's just like, oh, I'm doing everything the way. I don't know. I honestly don't. But whatever he's doing, I think that 99 and a half times out, so like, 199 times out of 200, he's always right on the money. He always does it exactly how far he needs to go. You know what I'm saying? And the stories that he tells are usually ones that the ending is very satisfying for us. The one example I can always use that is the antithesis of that statement would have to be Secret Empire, because it just ended very flat and he just left it. Um, I see the potential of that happening here, except the good part is it's not an event. If you don't want to read Amazing Spider-Man, you don't have to read Amazing Spider-Man. Nothing else is really crossing over with this. This Nick Spencer is basically an event in a single comic book run. Saying Spencer doesn't need to make events. I feel like he's better off not making events, because at some point he's going to change his mind and try and do something else, and then maybe, oh no, I can't actually extend it because I already said for this, and they gave me an extra issue, but they're not going to give me 10 extra issues. So I think that he's better off not doing it. Realistically, I'm saying that not with any, anger towards him, because I don't like events. I wish that all the events would stop. I feel compelled to read events. You guys know, I'm not enjoying the Venom event right now that's going on, the second one in as many years. You know what I'm saying? The King in Black. I'm not enjoying that event and most of the tie-ins. I'm simply not. But I feel compelled to read them because it's an event. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. That said, I love the idea of Spencer just being in a comic book, not being obligated to do an event. Just, I'm going to do my stories here. And I love the idea of that. I have to remind myself that not only will sometimes he'll do an ancillary issue, saying like a little auxiliary. I was using the word, but I didn't want to use it right away. Anyway, making like an auxiliary issue to what he's doing. Like here's an extra, 5 issues of a series outside of Spider-Man that's still kind of important. You can choose to read it or not, but there is another story there. I'm just saying, for the most part, he doesn't do that. Even though he's done it several times here, most of the 58 issues, how many issues did he do that with, right? I think 11. All in all, he's basically telling his event and all of the tie-ins in this comic book, in this one series, his run of Amazing Spider-Man. Like, that's the way that I'm viewing what he's doing. And it's amazing, Amazing Spider-Man, amazing that he's able to do that. And I have to remind myself a lot that that's basically what he's doing with this. So if it seems like, oh, it just went on one issue too long, maybe that was the tie. Maybe too much of the story in there was the tie-in, and we're just waiting to get to the regular book, which is why it's so helpful that this does come out twice a month, right? Anyway, guys, I've got almost nothing but strong positives for what my man's Nick Spencer does, and I again cannot wait to see more of what he's going to be putting out, because holy crap, this is just one of the best books that's out there. And it is what it is. The book pretty much speaks for itself. So why the hell did I just go on for 14 minutes? Anyway, guys, I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Like the video. Class dismissed.